All right, we should be live now. Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be live streaming again after a short little break there this weekend. Again, kind of still sad with the Kobe news and everything, but try to get through it here and talk about some DFS. So we actually have a pretty decent 6 game slate. There's a lot of value opening up here. I'll talk about a lot of value plays I like. But yeah, let's go over what we know so far. So we had Aldridge got ruled out at the beginning of the day. That's really significant because guys like Jakob Poeltl now becomes a really, really solid value play. I think Rudy Gay probably gets more minutes. Both those guys are very, very much in play, as well as DeMar DeRozan gets a huge usage boost. So there's definitely a good amount to like there on the Spurs with LMA getting ruled out. We had Harden get a midday upgrade to questionable and then a midday back downgrade to doubtful. So don't think Harden's going to go. Other big piece of news here, Capella doubtful. So Isaiah Hartenstein is one of the top value plays of the day. I don't see myself fading him tonight at the flat minimum. What's going on, guys? Let's see. Again, Harden got ruled questionable and then back to doubtful again. Let's see. We have other news. Oh, the Lakers Clippers game. This is not today, but tomorrow. That game is postponed. Obviously, due again to the Kobe news. We had Chris Paul just got ruled out for personal reasons, so that's pretty significant. I think SGA, Schroeder, and Gallinari all get a pretty big boost. All those guys look pretty appealing. And then what else do we have? We have Jimmy Butler still questionable. And then we had Kendrick Nunn get ruled out and Dragic available to play. So that's what we got right now. Let me refresh Bovada so we can look at some updated numbers here. Okay. So we have the Cavs and the Pistons sitting at 218.5. The Pistons favored by 7. We have the Magic and the Heat sitting at 209. Miami favored by 6. Mavs Thunder sitting at 225. The Mavs are now 4.5-point favorites with that Chris Paul news. We have the Kings and Timberwolves sitting at 225.5. Minnesota favored by 3. Spurs Bulls sitting at 214 with the Bulls favored by 1.5. And we have the Rockets Jazz sitting at 221. Jazz are now 13.5-point favorites with Westbrook out and Harden doubtful and Capella doubtful. So we'll go team by team here. I'll talk about the players I like. I can give you guys my core. Again, there's a lot of value plays that are opening up on the slate where it's going to make it stars and scrubs build, in my opinion. Now you can definitely go, with the mid-tier build. I think that's just going to be very constrained today. But yeah, let's talk about the Cavs. So honestly, not a whole lot I'm excited about here on the Cleveland side. Like nothing really stands out, and it makes it tricky to get to some of these guys. I think either Thompson or Nance are going to have a good game, but the minutes have been a little bit up and down, right? Thompson did have a huge game against Detroit. A few weeks ago? He had 65 fancy points. Just thought I would bring that up. But Nance has been playing well off the bench. He's been extended a bit. So it makes it tricky to go to one of those centers. Again, I think one probably has a pretty solid game, but it makes it risky, and I don't think we have to do it on this slate, especially with a lot of good center plays, right? We have Drummond, we have Cat, and we have Jakob Poeltl as a value play. So, and then Hardenstein, obviously, but I'm playing him at the power forward spot. So that's why it makes it a little bit harder to get to those guys. And again, there's just a lot of really good value plays. Hardenstein, Poeltl, Chris Clemens, his minutes, we don't really know how many minutes he's going to get. So he's a little bit riskier option. We have Austin Rivers. We have, potentially Rudy Gay, I think gets more runs. So it's really setting up for a stars and scrubs build where a lot of these guys, it just doesn't fit my ideal cash game build. Like Kevin Love at 7.9. I don't know. It's a good spot, but I don't see myself getting to Kevin Love at this price when we can get those OKC guards or OKC guys with no Chris Paul. We can get DeMar DeRozan with no LaMarcus Aldridge. You can pay up a little bit more for those centers, so Cat and Drummond. It really doesn't make sense to me to get to Kevin Love for one lineup. Now, if you're making multiple lineups, of course, you can take a shot on him. Like, he can get 40, even 50 in a really good night. But I don't see myself getting there in one lineup. Colin Sexton is too pricey there. Again, with all his value opening up, I don't see myself getting to him. And then, there's really not a whole lot else I like. Like I said, I'm okay if you want to take a shot at either Thompson or Nance. I think one of those guys has a pretty solid game. The issue with Thompson right now is just Nance has been playing really well, so his minutes have been a little bit limited. But, again, just thought I'd bring it up. He did have 65 fantasy points a couple weeks ago against Detroit. that's really it there for Cleveland. Again, not a whole lot I'm excited about. On the Detroit side, there's a little bit more I like. So Drummond at the top at 9.6. You have to make the decision tonight with what you want to do at center. I think you play 2 of the 3 of Drummond, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jakob Poeltl. I think, Jakob Poeltl is going to be really popular, so if you want to get off a popular chalk value play, you could just spend up on Drummond and Cat. There's other value plays that I'll talk about, especially in that Houston game, right? Rivers, Clemens, Hartenstein. There's a lot of solid value plays. You can even look to Rudy Gay, who I think is going to go overlooked tonight. I think everyone's going to Jakob Poeltl, but I think Rudy Gay probably gets more run as well. So, but yeah, Drummond doesn't spend up. Really like him. He's probably going to get mid-30s minutes in a close game. He could have, his upside is, 60 plus in this matchup. So I do have a good amount of interest in Drummond. You have to make the decision for roster construction purposes whether you want to play Drummond, Cat, or Jakob Poeltl. I would probably play 2 of those 3. You could include Rudy Gobert too. My concern is more of the potential for a blowout in that game. But if it does stay close, you could see Rudy Gobert. So I guess I would add Rudy Gobert to that list of centers that I would consider. As far as Derrick Rose goes, the 7.8K, he's probable. I still think he can have an upside game at this price. It just makes it a bit hard, right? Almost think 8K for Derrick Rose feels like a little bit much. But again, I can still see him put up like 45 fancy points. I would not be shocked. Really good spot here. So am I going to play Derrick Rose for cash games? I'm not. But I could see him still have an upside there at that price. Everyone else is kind of a fade here. Svi, I'm not going to get to. Morris, Wood, Drummond back, no. Bruce Brown got priced up. One guy I would consider is Reggie Jackson at 4.3, who has played pretty well in limited time. 19 and 23 minutes, 36 and 30 fancy points. I don't know if he can keep up this level of production, but I think he is someone you can consider as a value play. Now, again, it makes it a little bit tricky when you have Poeltl, Gay, Clemens, Rivers, Hartenstein, right? There's a lot of solid value on the slate. So I think Reggie Jackson goes overlooked, but I could definitely see him put up over 30 fancy points in the spot. That's really it. I wouldn't consider anyone else here on the Pistons. So, let's see. Oh, wait. Rose out. Okay, I did not know that. That must have just came out. Hold on, let me confirm that. Yep, Derrick Rose ruled out. All right, well, back to the drawing board, right? All right, so that definitely changes some things. With D Rose going from probable to out. Whew, okay, so I think Reggie Jackson probably has to play more minutes. I'd assume they can dust off Tim Frazier, I think. He probably gets a little bit of run. I don't think we have to go there. I think, Bruce Brown probably gets a little more run. Now I think he's a little bit more viable as well, even at this price point. So yeah, things definitely change with Derrick Rose being out. Obviously, it's more of a boost to Drummond as well. He's going to have to do more offensively. So I like Drummond even more with Derrick Rose out. I think, so I think if I had to rank my Pistons plays, it would be Drummond at the top, and then probably Reggie Jackson to Bruce Brown. I still don't see myself getting to Svi or Morris or Wood, right? They're not going to change a whole lot with Rose out. The big minutes boost, I think, are going to go to Reggie and Bruce Brown. And I don't know how many minutes they're going to give to Reggie, right? He's coming back from injury, so maybe they only give him like 25 or so. But even if that's the case, and he's been really solid, and a lot of usage ground without Derrick Rose. As far as Galloway goes at 4.1, I mean, he probably gets good run, but he's just a lower usage guy. Like, I would prefer taking a shot at Reggie Jackson. I would probably prefer taking a shot on Bruce Brown, who has, I know he's been up and down, but he probably has more upside, in my opinion, than Langston Galloway. And then, again, Tim Frazier probably gets into the rotation, but I don't think we have to go there. So, yeah, that kind of wraps up with the Pistons. Again, with D-Rose out now, there is more to like. Again, Drummond at the top, Brown and Jackson. You could make an argument for Galloway, but I'm not going to go there. So that's really it. Let's talk about Orlando, Miami. Pretty unappealing game here. I'll probably be full fading this game unless we get news that like Jimmy Butler's out. If Jimmy Butler gets ruled out, then I would consider some guys on the Miami side. But as of right now, I don't see myself getting to Vucevic at this price. He's just more of a contrarian dart throw, in my opinion. Again, we have Drummond, we have Cat, we have Rudy Gobert, we have Jakob Poeltl. I don't see myself getting to Vucevic when we have those centers on the slate. No way I'm getting to Fournier there or Aaron Gordon or Fultz, right? It's basically a full fade here for me on the Orlando side. Pretty simple. So, yeah, tough spot, slow-paced game. No reason to go to any of those guys, in my opinion. Like, there's just I just like a lot of other plays in the slate. As far as Miami goes, we have Bam is cleared to play. We have Goran Dragic is available, and then we have Kendrick Nunn got ruled out. So that is pretty significant. Like, Nunn was playing big minutes, so I think Dragic probably gets a little bit more run. But a 5.8 in a tougher spot, I don't think I would go to Dragic unless Jimmy Butler gets ruled out. Now, if Jimmy Butler gets ruled out, that would change some things, because then I would look to Dragic, then I would look to Hero, then you can make an argument even for like Jones Jr. or James Johnson or Kelly Olynyk. Those guys would all become viable, cheaper options. So it's really kind of all dependent right now on Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler plays, I still don't think I have a whole lot of interest in these Miami guys, and just again, really slow pace game. But if Jimmy Butler gets ruled out, then Dragic and Hero, I think, would be my main priorities. But it would make it tricky roster construction-wise, right? Because there's so much really cheap, good, cheap value that playing these guys in the mid-tier would be very contrarian. So yeah, it's strictly dependent on Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler gets ruled out, it's Dragic, it's Nunn for me, or Dragic and Hero, I should say. If Jimmy Butler plays, probably not a whole lot I get to on the Miami side. So let's talk about Sacramento and Minnesota. I don't think there's going to be a lot of high-owned guys here on the Kings. Right, Dedmon, I think if he stays out of foul trouble, probably gets 30 minutes, but I just don't see myself getting to him, again, with all those centers I talked about. I would rather, if I'm playing a value center, I'd rather play Jakob Poeltl at almost mid-price than Dwayne Dedmon. So don't see myself getting to him. Bogdanovich started that last game. He didn't get as much run as I thought he would. That kind of takes Buddy Hield out of play. Bjelica can still upside that price, but don't see myself getting to him at cash games. Really the one guy, I think my favorite play here on the Sacramento side would be Fox. But my worry is just those minutes recently. With Bogdan back, those minutes have been down into the low 30s, whereas earlier when Bogdan was out, he was playing 38, 37, 38 minutes. This is obviously a really good spot, so I could still see him have upside game. But again, the concern is just those minutes with Fox. So I think Fox probably be my favorite play, but don't know if I'm going to get to him on this slate as far as one lineup goes, right? If you're making multiple lineups, of course you can take a shot on De'Aaron Fox. On the Minnesota side, so I love Cat as a spend up. Probably my favorite spend up here. Going to be matched up with either Dedmon or Harry Giles. Should have his way. He is, again, definitely my favorite spend up with Westbrook and Harden off the slate. So really like Towns there as a spend up. Wiggins at 7.1K. He's so up and down. I mean, if you want to take a shot there of making multiple lineups, I could see it. But as far as a cash game lineup, there's no way I get to Wiggins. We have Napier probable. Again, he had a good game the last time out, but his price came up. The minutes are a little up and down. It's always hard to trust Ryan Sanders in his rotations. Covington seems like an okay option, but don't see myself getting to him on the slate. As far as these value guys, don't have to do it. Again, I'll talk about a lot of value guys there in the Houston game and San Antonio as well. So don't see myself getting to a lot in the Minnesota side besides Karl-Anthony Towns, so I do really like. On the Dallas side, so we have Luka right now at 11.9K. I think on a normal slate, he wouldn't be that high owned, but with all this value opening up, there's not a whole lot of spend ups you can get to, right? So I think the popular way to go, or the more popular way for centers is, I think people are going to play Jakob Poeltl, and then one of those two spend up centers with Cat or Drummond. And then again, there's a lot of value as far as Houston goes. So that leads me to believe that Luka's going to be pretty popular. And I don't have an issue with Luka, but at 12K, I think, if he's going to be that popular, I might hop off with Porzingis back, right? Because with Porzingis in the lineup, his upside is capped a little bit. I personally, right now, I have Cat and Drummond in my lineup. I think that's a bit more contrarian, right? Because I think Jakob Poeltl is a really good value play. But playing him in your lineup, it almost forces you to get to Luka because there's really not a whole lot of other spend-ups you can play, right? You're going to play one of those other spend-up centers, but there's a whole lot of great value on the Houston side where you don't have a lot to spend up on besides Luka. So I think for that reason, he's going to be pretty popular, and that might be why I fade him tonight because I think he'll be somewhat popular, and I think he could have a game of 50 fantasy points, which would not be great. So Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty popular just because all that value opening up. But right now, I'm going a little bit contrarian with my build, spending up on both centers with Cat and Drummond. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, Luka. I'm perfectly fine with him again. I think he's going to be pretty popular just because there's really not a whole lot of great spend ups in the slate. Porzingis, no way get to him. They're limiting his minutes. As far as Willie Cauley-Stein goes, I don't know. I haven't seen any news of whether or not he's going to be available. Obviously, you're not going to play him, though, even if he is available. And then, value guys I talked about earlier in my video, like DeLon Wright and Seth Curry, have been getting more run. But it just doesn't make sense for me to go here. With potential of Willie Cauley-Stein playing, that would just be less minutes for everyone else. And again, there's a lot of value on the Spurs. There's a lot of value in the Rockets where I don't see myself getting to these guys as more of just GBP dart throws. So that basically wraps up for Dallas. Let's talk about OKC. The big news obviously here is no Chris Paul. That is pretty significant because he was a very high usage guy in the offense, playing about low 30s minutes. So now SGA, Gallinari, and Schroeder become a lot more appealing. You can make an argument for any one of these three guys. I never really think one stands out more than the other as far as these OKC guys go, so it makes it a little bit tricky, but I would probably try to get one of those guys in your lineup. Again, with no Chris Paul, I see one, maybe even two, having a really, really upside game. SGA has flashed the most upside recently, so if you want to go off recent production, I have no issue with SGA. You could go to Gallinari as well, 7K, right? His upstairs usage is going to go up. And even Schroeder, I think they probably start him at the point. Like, he stands out as a really solid player as well. So I think I probably want to get one of these three guys in my lineup. Again, I don't really think one stands out more than the other, but I have a good amount of interest in all three of those guys. Steven Adams playing limited minutes, can't go there. Noel, not for me on the slate. Muscala, again, there's too much good value. So it's really SGA, Gallinari, and Schroeder, and that's it. But I like all three of those guys a good amount. I would probably try to get one of those three. You can play two for sure, but I would probably try to get at least one of those guys in your lineup. Now let's talk about the Spurs. Again, the big news here is no LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, with him being out, that's, again, a lot of usage around. So DeRozan, I think, really stands out as a solid play. The one downside here is the Bulls play at a really, really slow pace. They're pretty solid. They've been surprisingly pretty solid defensively. But with no LMA, DeRozan's going to have to do a lot here. So I think he really stands out at this price. So yeah, good amount of interest there in DeRozan. As far as this next tier of these value guards with Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Patty Mills, and Bryn Forbes, I think one or two of those guys have a pretty solid night, but I don't know if any of those guys really stand out. I think the guys that really stand out next for me are Jakob Poeltl, 3.2. We don't have a Spurs starting lineup yet, or let me confirm that. I haven't seen one yet. Let's see. Pistons will start. Pistons, we have a starting lineup. Reggie Jackson, Svi, Sekou, Thon Maker at the 4. That's pretty interesting. And then Drummond. So yeah, Drummond's gonna have he's gonna have to do a lot there offensively. So again, I think he really stands out as a good spend up center option. It's really tricky, right? You have Drummond, Cat, Jakob Poeltl, and Gobert. You're gonna want to play two of those four for sure. Definitely a two center night in my opinion. It's just whether or not how do you want to go about your roster construction, right? I think Jakob Poeltl is a really, really solid value play. I think we probably, if he starts, I think we probably get 25 minutes from him. If that's the case, again, he really stands out. We've seen, when he gets 20 minutes, he can get definitely over 20 fantasy points. So I think probably a safe projection for him is about 25 or so, and he really stands out as a good value play. You can also look to Rudy Gay, who I think goes overlooked on the slate. But I think his minutes will go up. Now, the concern with him is Greg Popovich, and they can use other guys, right? They can use Trey Lyles a little bit more. They could, Bellinelli and Lonnie Walker can get a little more run. They could dust off Damari Carroll, right? So there's a chance that Rudy Gay still only gets like 20 or so minutes. There is, because it's Greg Popovich. But my best guess is those minutes are going to have to go up. They could always start him at the 4, move Lyles to the 5. I think that's a doable option for the Spurs. So yeah, I think it's really my main interest here on San Antonio is DeRozan at the top, and then Jakob Poeltl and Rudy Gay as far as value plays. Now, if you want to take a shot on White or Murray or Mills or Forbes, I'm okay with it, right? There's just a lot of usage around with Aldridge, but really, I think the cash game plays there are DeRozan and then Jakob Poeltl and Rudy Gay, a little bit riskier, but I think those minutes will go up. The concern is they do have a lot of other bodies they can use. But let's talk about Chicago now. So on the Chicago side, there's not a whole lot I like. I think my favorite play here is Thad Young at 4.9K. He's definitely a doable mid-tier. I mean, you could consider him a value play. I think we probably get about 30 or so minutes from him with no Wendell Carter Jr., but no Lauri Markkanen. So, yeah, I think Thad Young does stand out as a pretty solid play. Definitely my favorite play here in the Bulls. I don't see myself getting to Cornette. His minutes have been down. Or Felicio, right? There's just better value plays. As far as these other guys in the mid-tier, like Dunn, Satoransky, don't see myself getting to them. Zach LaVine is just more of a contrarian spend-up. I think he can still have upside at this price, but as far as cash games go, there's no way to get to him. So he's more of just a contrarian GPP play. That's really it for Chicago. I think, again, Thad Young, probably my favorite play there. And then, contrarian play with Zach LaVine at 9.8K. But now let's talk about the game of the night here, Houston and Utah. So we have Westbrook already out. We have Harden doubtful. Don't expect him to go. They haven't updated this yet, but they said he's unlikely to play. And then we have Clint Capella also doubtful. So, yeah, Houston is going to be super, super shorthanded. How many bodies are they even have active? Like, is this guy even available? I don't even know if he's available to play. Hartenstein, I know. Clemens, 2. Frazier, 3. Cephalosha, 4. Chandler, 5. Rivers, 6. House, 7. Tucker, 8. McLemore, 9. So they will still have 10 guys. But, okay, my main interest here on the Houston side is definitely Hartenstein. I assume he's going to start with no Clint Capella. Again, they can use Tyson Chandler a bit, but Hartenstein is flash. Look what he did against Minnesota in 26 minutes, 52 fancy points. When he gets time, he's really, really solid. So at mid price, I don't see myself fading him. Now, sure, there's a chance he could get in foul trouble against Gobert, but that's a shot I'm willing to take at mid price. Again, he's going to be super, super chalk. I don't see myself getting away from him. My next favorite plays are probably Austin Rivers and Chris Clemens. Austin Rivers, most likely going to start at the point guard. I think if the game stays close, we probably get 35 minutes from him. And he's just a different player with no Westbrook and Harden, right? He's going to have to do so much more offensively. He can have a big game at this price. So I do like Austin Rivers a good amount at this price. And then Chris Clemens, more of the riskier option in my opinion, because there's a chance he could play 15 minutes. There's a chance he could play 30 plus minutes, right? If the game blows out, it's obviously a good thing for him. He'll get more run. In this game against the Pelicans, when both Westbrook and Harden were out, he didn't start, but he came off the bench and played 34 minutes, had 35 fantasy points. Now, this guy's a pretty high usage guy when he's out there. But, again, the minutes are the big question mark here. I think he's a riskier option, but the upside is massive on him if he gets the minutes. So I like him a lot, but he's a riskier option for sure, just because those minutes, I could see him play 10 minutes. There's a chance he could be very, very limited. Or there's a chance they could extend him. Again, if the game blows out, that's good for him. So he's riskier just because I have no idea how many minutes he's going to get. If he gets extended a bit, he could crush the salary. I think he's going to be pretty popular. I've heard his name talked about a good amount. But, I have interest in him for sure at the flat minimum. Again, Rivers at this price, I don't know if he's going to be that high owned, but he probably gets over 30 minutes in this one. So I do like him a good amount there for his price. As far as other guys go, so PJ Tucker, like his role is not going to change a whole lot. He's still going to play big minutes, but he's just going to stand in the corner. So if he knocks down those threes, sure, he can get you there. But I don't know if his role necessarily changes, right? I don't really think he gets any backup 5 because they have Tyson Chandler they can use in that position. So I don't see myself getting to Tucker really. Now, can he get like 30 fantasy points? Sure, but he's going to have to knock down his corner threes. Again, with Harden and Westbrook out, that doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't really change PJ Tucker's role. He's still going to stand in the corner and have to knock down those corner threes to get you there. As far as Danuel House, I like the price, but again, I don't know if his role changes dramatically. Now, I think I still have interest in him for sure at this price point, right? He doesn't have to do a whole lot to get you there, but I think I would give the edge to Austin Rivers if I'm going to pick between those two. It's close for sure, but I think I would give the slight edge to Rivers, so I think I like the upside a little bit more on him. McLemore's too expensive at 5.8K. No way I get to him at that price. Now, Eric Gordon makes for an interesting play here, GPP play. I don't see myself getting there for cash games. 6.9, Draftkings did a really, really good job raising his price, but I think in a close game, we probably get 35 minutes from Gordon, maybe a little bit more. If Houston has any chance of staying close in this game, it's most likely because of Eric Gordon. So, yeah, I still think he's in play. He's just more of a GPP option at this price. So, yeah, that's really it for Houston. Again, there's a lot of value plays. I think, Rivers or Hartenstein for sure, right? I don't see myself fading Hartenstein. I think Rivers stands as a pretty solid value play. I think Chris Clemens is the big question mark, right? He could play 10 minutes. He could play 30 plus. If he gets the high end, he crushes this salary. So he's a little bit riskier, but I love the upside on him if he gets some minutes. As far as Frazier goes, I don't think we have to go there. I would just prefer, again, going to Chris Clemens, who just has a better offensive game, wants, shoot the ball a lot. And then Chandler, don't see myself getting to him again. I talked about liking Rivers. Don't mind House, but I think I would give the edge to Rivers there. PJ Tucker's role doesn't change a whole lot. I don't see myself getting to him. Mac Moore's too pricey, and I have some edge there in Gordon as far as a GBP play. Let's talk about Utah. So this is strictly dependent on how you think this game goes, right? This game could turn into a massive blowout, right? I would not be surprised at all in Utah. No Harden, no Westbrook. There's a good chance this game blows out. If you think this game stays close, you're going to want to target some of these Utah guys, like Rudy Gobert. If you think Houston can somehow keep this game close, Rudy Gobert can crush this price tag going up against Hartenstein and Tyson Chandler. But again, you have Drummond with no Derrick Rose and a thin Detroit team going up against Cleveland. You have Karl-Anthony Towns match up against Dedmon or Giles. You have Jakob Poeltl as a really solid value play. So you're going to have to make some tough decisions there with center. Yeah, I think Rudy Gobert more of just a GPP play because of the very real possibility of a blowout here. Donovan Mitchell, kind of the same analysis. Like, I like him a lot, but I have very little confidence this game stays close. So it makes it a little bit tricky for me to get to him. I think he's more of a GPP option, in my opinion. Bojan, too scoring dependent, but he could have an upside game in a really good spot here. Joe Ingles, I like the price on him at 5.4. I think probably gets about 30 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more if the game stays close. So, yeah, Utah, it's just a tricky spot to break down because it's all about what do you think happens in this game, right? If you think this game blows out, then I probably don't. I mean, I could still see one or two of these Utah guys getting you there in 3 quarters. Like, I could still see Rudy Gobert putting up like 50 plus in 3 quarters. Same thing with Donovan Mitchell, right? It just makes it a little bit more risky for me to target these guys when there's a very, very real possibility this game does not stay close. Let's see. Let me see if there's any more news, and then I can give you guys my core. Jimmy Butler will start. Okay. Willie Cauley-Stein available to make that Mavs debut, so that definitely takes DeLon Wright, Seth Curry out of play for me. Doncic available. We expected that. So, yeah, this is tricky because again, I think Jakob Poeltl is probably a really solid safe option, but I'm just in love with Drummond and Towns right now. So it's if you want to save salary and go Poeltl, I'm completely fine with that. I would probably play 2 of those 3 with Towns, Drummond, and Poeltl. But I'm going to go a little bit contrarian. I'm going Towns and Drummond tonight. I just love both of their upsides. And again, if you're playing Poeltl in one of those center spots, which I think is certainly viable, you probably get to Luka just because there's not a whole lot of great spend-ups. But I'm going with Towns. I'm going with Drummond. And then as far as cheaper options, Hartenstein, there's no way I get away from him at that price. And then I would say one of those Houston guards, or Clemens or Rivers. I think you can play both for sure. I think Rivers probably the cashier option because he's more guaranteed minutes, whereas Clemens more the GPP option. So right now, I'll go Austin Rivers. But again, you could play Clemens. You could play both if you want to. I would probably try from here. I would probably try to get one of those OKC guards in there, or one of those OKC guys, whether it be SGA, Gallinari, or Schroeder. And then you have a pretty solid core from there. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with for this slate. Again, you can make an argument for Poeltl in one of those center spots and go elsewhere, but that's the way I'm going. But yeah, let's get to some questions here, and then, yeah, we got 10 minutes until lock. So, I'm paying up for Towns and Drummond too. Yeah, I mean, it's a really tricky call because Jakob Poeltl, I love it. Like, if Jakob Poeltl was a power forward, I would play him and Hardenstein in the power forward spots and move on. But there's only 2 center spots we can play. Luka or Cat more fantasy points? I think they're really close, and for that reason, I got to give the edge to Cat, who's cheaper. I think they're pretty close as far as fantasy points, so that's why I got to prefer Cat there. Hope everything is well. I took a little break, but I'm back. Rudy Gay or Dion Waiters on FanDuel. Luka's 10-9 is a lock, right? Yeah, so I would definitely go Rudy Gay there over Dion Waiters with Jimmy Butler playing and with Dragic playing. I think Dion Waiters maybe gets a DNP. On FanDuel, Luka's 10-9. Is he a lock? That's a more appealing price for sure, 10-9. I would have a lot more interest in Luka at that price. Butler's in. Yeah, so with Butler in, I just don't have a whole lot of interest in the Miami guys. That game in general is not super appealing. Dragic, SGA, DeRozan, Hartenstein, Towns, Jackson, Porzingis, Poeltl. Yeah, I'm not super excited about Porzingis. Like, I don't think I would go to Porzingis personally with him being limited. Now, there's a chance his minutes go up, but just going off what we've seen the last couple games, right? 27, 25, and 25 minutes in close games. So I probably wouldn't play Porzingis. Dragic, a little bit riskier option too, but he will do a little bit more with no Kendrick Nunn. So I'm okay going to Dragic. Porzingis, I probably wouldn't go there. 3,700 forward, already have Hartenstein. Probably Rudy Gay for me. Let's see. 3,700. Yeah, Dion Waiters again. I think he gets a DNP, or there's a good chance he gets a DNP. You could look to Trey Lyles, who maybe gets a little bit more run, but I think Rudy Gay is probably your best bet. Now, again, my concerns with Rudy Gay are it's Greg Popovich, and they have a lot of guys they can use. They could dust off Damari Carroll. They could give Lonnie Walker and Marco Bellinelli more run. But I think Rudy Gay has the most upside out of those guys. And if he gets like 25 or so minutes, I think he could really have a good game there. So I'll go Rudy Gay. DeRozan and Nance or Gallinari and Hield. I'm not super excited about Nance or Hield. I do like DeRozan and Gallinari a good amount. I'll go Gallinari and Hield there. Clemens, Bradley, blowout line. Yeah, so that's definitely a possibility to go to Tony Bradley, right? There's a good chance this game blows out, but that's just like that's a dart throw, right? Because I think we probably get at least 30 minutes from Rudy Gobert in 3 quarters. So the most Tony Bradley plays, in my opinion, is probably 18 minutes. And I mean, you have Jakob Poeltl, similar price, who's going to play more minutes for sure. You have upside in Towns and Drummond. So that's just like a strict dart throw. I would not feel great about going there. Let's see. I think Clemens and Rivers are chalk and cash. Yeah, I think, my concerns with Clemens are just the minutes, right? I have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. I would not be surprised if he plays 10 minutes. I would not be surprised if he plays 30. Now, there's a good chance the game blows out. He probably gets more run. So, yeah, it's a riskier. I think Rivers is probably the safer option, as tough that is to say with Austin Rivers. But I think you can 100% play both those guys if you want to. Schroeder or Gallinari, I think Clemens will be good. He is ball handler, blowout. He'll get more run. Yep. So between Schroeder and Gallinari, I'll give the edge to Schroeder. I think I like his upside a little bit more, whereas Gallinari I think maybe a little bit safer of an option. But I think Schroeder is a guy with no Chris Paul, probably starts, and I could see him putting up 50 fantasy points in this game, so I would go Schroeder there. More fancy points, Cat or Drummond, also Rip Black Mamba. Yeah, really sad with the Kobe news for sure. Still sad about today. Cat or Drummond, I mean, I think Cat, it's close, but I'm playing both of those centers. Bojan, Murray, Eric Gordon, or Sexton. I have the cash for all. I will take a shot at Eric Gordon because I think if the Rockets keep that game close, Eric Gordon's going to have a big game. Schroeder, Hero, SGA, Reggie. I'll go SGA, Reggie there. Mitchell or Fox? Do you think the game stays close? If you think Houston keeps it close, I would go Mitchell. If you think the game blows out, I would go Fox. Hero over Dragic? I'd probably go Dragic over Hero. I think it's close, but I think I would go Dragic over Hero. Schroeder, SGA, tough call. that one's basically a coin flip for me. Yeah, that's whatever you have to say. I mean, they're pretty similar. I don't think I could say one over the other confidently. So let's really go with your gut there with those two guys. Bielitsa or Thad Young? Well, they're different prices. If you have the money, you can get to Bielitsa. But I think Thad Young is a pretty solid play there at his price. I'd rather Thad Young over KP. Yeah, again, I just don't see myself getting to Porzingis on this slate. Reggie Jackson, SGA, Ingles, Hardenstein, Cat, Clemens, Gallo, and Drummond. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that at all. Rivers or Pirtle for cash? That's close. I think probably Pirtle, but again, I'm not playing Jakob Pirtle just because I'm playing Drummond and Cat, and I like Rivers a good amount. I like Clemens a good amount, so that's a tough question. I'll go Pirtle, but thoughts on Bam for GPP? I wouldn't do it personally. I would not. Rolling with Rivers, Schroeder, DeRozan, Hardenstein, Drummond, Reggie Jackson, O'Neal, and Cat. Yeah, I'm not super excited about Royce O'Neal, but I can see him having a good game in that spot. No other issue besides that. Young or Love for FanDuel GPP. We're talking about Thad Young, right? I mean, I like his price on DraftKings. So I would probably save the money on Thad Young. Can I fade both Towns and Cat for DeRozan? Oh, I think you mean Towns and Drummond for DeRozan, Fox, and Schroeder. Yeah, I like DeRozan, Fox, and Schroeder all a good amount. So you can definitely do that. Fox, SGA, Ingles, Hardenstein, Towns, Reggie Jackson, DeRozan, Pirtle. I have no issues with that at all. Butler, yeah, I don't see myself getting to him there against the Magic. Going with this for GPP. Austin Rivers, Zach LaVine. Okay. I mean, Zach LaVine's going to be super, super low on. Bruce Brown, going to have to do more with no Derrick Rose. I'm okay with that. Hardenstein, Drummond, Fox, Butler, Pirtle. That's a riskier for sure. Again, Jimmy Butler, I think, goes low owned. I don't think Fox is very high owned. But, yeah, I'm fine with that for GPPs. A lot of those guys will be pretty low owned. Again, LaVine, Bruce Brown, and Jimmy Butler, and Fox. I think all are probably under 10% owned. Once this game locks, tell us your lineup. Yeah, it's only Detroit, Cleveland. I can't do that because you guys could get to my lineup. I'm only playing Drummond in this game. Again, I'm completely fine going to Reggie or Bruce Brown too. But I only have Drummond there. Thoughts on Seth Curry? I wouldn't do it with Willie Cauley-Stein playing. That's just less minutes to go around for him and DeLon Wright. And with all of the other guys I talked about, I don't see myself going to him. DeRozan or Love and Cash? I would probably, even though Love's in a better spot, I think I would go DeRozan with LaMarcus Aldridge. Okogie or Rudy Gay? I would definitely go Rudy there. Fox or Jackson GPP? Well, we're talking about Reggie Jackson, right? Yeah. So I would probably go Fox there because I think he goes super low owned, but I like his upside still. So I'll go Fox for GPPs, but I think Reggie Jackson's a really solid value play as well. Nobody going to play 36% usage LaVine today? I don't think so. I think LaVine makes for a good GPP play because no one's going to play him. Yeah, Sano's playing him. Thank you. Yeah, of course, man. SGA, Hero, DeRozan, Hardenstein, Towns, Clemens, Gay, and Drummond. Perfectly fine with me. Hero is going to have to do a little bit more with no none. I don't think he plays 40 minutes like he did the last time because we have Dragic playing, but I still think Hero is playable. I'm just not super, super excited about him with Jimmy Butler playing, but I'm okay with that. Clemens, SGA, DeRozan, Hardenstein, Towns, Fox, Bielitsa, Rivers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, again, Bielitsa is more just a filler guy. I'm not, super, super excited about him. Fox, I think Fox is more of a contrarian play, but I still like him. Other than that, there's no issues. GPP, Reggie, SGA, House, Hardenstein, Cat, Clemens, Rose, and Drummond. Yep, I like that a lot. 4,400 left for forward. Spot who looks best. Let's see. 4,400. Yeah, so I don't think I would go to Kleber or Cornette or O'Neal. Yeah, I mean, I think you probably leave money on the table here and go Danwell House or or Rudy Gay. Like I think I don't see myself getting to Kleber, Cornette, Royce O'Neal, maybe PJ Tucker, but his role doesn't change a whole lot. Like I think I would give the edge to Daniel Hauser over PJ Tucker. So probably one of those Rockets guys there. Jimmy Butler starting, yeah. So again, I'm not super excited about a lot there in Miami. It's just that game's gonna be played at a really slow pace. Two pretty solid defensive teams. SGA or Schroeder, more fancy points. Again, that's a coin flip for me. I'm sorry I don't have an answer to that, but I really think that's a coin flip. My cash line is Clemens, Rivers, Butler, Hartenstein, Drummond, Luka, Gallinari, and Pirtle. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid cash game line. What do you think about playing SGA and Dennis? I think you definitely can do it. No Chris Paul. That is a lot of usage to go around. So I think you can. Like I said, I would get at least one of those OKC guys. One of those three with Schroeder, SGA, and Gallinari. But you could play two. My two guys tonight are Love and Fox. They're both going to be low owned. They're going to smash. They are both going to be low owned. I could see Kevin Love putting up 50. I could see Fox putting up 50. They're just more GPP plays, right? I wouldn't go there for cash games, but I think those guys do have potential in their spots. Thoughts on Schroeder and SGA together? I think you can do it. I think you can. It's just, what are you comfortable with everything else in your lineup? But yeah, I think you can play both together. SGA just had his one down game. He's super consistent. So I have one. I have SGA in, but I like Schroeder. I like Gallinari. Again, you could play two if you want to. Luka, Drummond, and Cat core, hoping value smash with them. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get to Luka, Drummond, and Cat. If we get to, here, I can just show you, let's see. How much salary would that be remaining? 3.6K. That is still viable, right? Because we put in, just saying, if I made a lineup like this, you could go Hartenstein. You could go let's see, you can go those Houston guys with Rivers and Clemens. You could go Rudy Gay. And then you have 5.1K remaining, right? So you could definitely do a lineup like that and just plug in all those value guys. I don't have an issue with that. That's a pretty solid lineup too, right? Luka has a high floor. I think he's going to be pretty popular just because there's not a whole lot of good spend-ups. Again, I told you guys what I'm doing. I'm going the two stud centers with Towns and Drummond, but you could play them with Luka. I think that is viable. Just, I kind of gave you guys a lineup there. That is something that's definitely doable. Let's see. Luka, Rivers, SGA, DeMar DeRozan, House, Gallinari, Hardenstein, something, Towns. I can't. But yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Better night, Cat or Drummond. It's tough because I'm playing both. I think Cat probably has more fancy points, but I really do like both those guys. Reggie, Luka, Schroeder, DeRozan, Gallo, Gordon, Thad Young, Hardenstein, Towns. I like that as well. Drummond, 80% cash. Towns must be low owned. Yeah, I would say let me look at ownership here. If Drummond is that high owned, I think I agree with you. I think Cat is going to be low owned. Maybe. Again, I think Jakob Poeltl is going to be pretty popular, and you can only play two centers. If Drummond is that popular, then I think Towns maybe goes under the radar here. We'll see. I'll be interested to see how high owned Towns is, but yeah, that's a good point. With Drummond being that high owned, I think the cash game build then, if Drummond is that high owned, I think this will be the cash game build. I think it's going to be Drummond, Luka, just because there's not a whole lot of good spend ups, right? And then probably Hartenstein, Pirtle, and then probably one of those Rockets guards. And then you have, you're going to throw in, let's see, Rivers or Clemens, right? Throw in Rivers. 6.2K remaining. I think that's going to be a really, really popular cash game build. And then, you can go from there. Sexton went completely overlooked, only 2%. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really super excited about him at his price. And I see why he's so low owned, right? When you have SGA, when you have Schroeder at a similar price with no Chris Paul. Like, I would much prefer getting to those guys. Andre, 53 and 52% my two contests. Drummond, mega chalk. That's my line with Thaddeus Young, LOL. That value line? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like that line a good amount. Like that's a pretty appealing lineup for sure. Yes, I bet Cat is lower than 20%. I think he's going to be pretty low owned. I do. I think everyone's going to go Pirtle, and everyone's going to go Luka. My main lineup is SGA, Levine, Gay, Hardenstein, Cat, Fox, Bruce Brown, Pirtle. Yeah, so Dan, I think that's going to be a lower owned lineup for sure, but there's still upside there. Fox, SGA, Brown, Hardenstein, Drummond, Rivers, Lyles, Cat. Perfectly fine with me. Am I crazy for fading Pirtle and playing Cat and Drummond? No, I'm playing Cat and Drummond, so I don't think you're, unless you think I'm crazy. If you think I'm crazy, then yeah. But no, I don't think you're crazy. I like both their upsides a lot. Thumbs up. Thanks, man. Yeah, again, if you guys enjoy this content, I would appreciate if you hit that like button. Right there with you, Dan. Good luck, fellas. Okay, I think I am going to head out of here, guys. I can look at some other ownership. I don't think there's going to be anything really. Let's see. What else do we have? Kevin Love, 7%. Reggie Jackson, 32%. Yeah, so I liked Reggie. I didn't get to him personally, but I see why he's pretty high owned, 32%. With no Derrick Rose, I think those minutes will go up. But yeah, I'm gonna be really interested on how high owned Cat is. I think just off the fact that Drummond is that high owned, and just that I really think Pirtle's gonna be really high owned, that I think Cat is gonna fly under the radar. A little worried about DeRozan. He's shaken up about Kobe. Yeah, he had an off game that last game, but you could make the argument where he wants to go out and put on a show for Kobe, right? Like you can make the argument both ways. And with no LMA, he's gonna have to do a lot. Rose 15% in DK Showdown, really? Dang, 15% dead money. Thanks, DK. Yeah, Reggie at 30 is kind of scary. Yeah, I mean, I liked Reggie, but there's just a lot of other good value plays. All right, well, I'm gonna hop out of here, guys. I hope you guys all have a good night. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. That is in the description below. I will also have a video up for tomorrow's slate tonight. Be on the lookout for that. Thanks to DK. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, again, thanks again, guys. Really do appreciate all you guys coming to check out the live stream. I will see you all tomorrow. Good luck, and I hope you guys win some money tonight.